Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar on edVentr. And today we have Nathalie Sanchez, a sales expert. Hi, Nathalie.
Hello, Sandeep. Nice meeting you. And hello, everybody. Happy to be here with you.
Excellent. So just to give you a brief background on Nathalie, Nathalie happens to be a former sales director of Microsoft Indian Ocean region. She has more than 20 years of experience in the field of sales, wherein she has worked with international companies such as Toshiba Systems France, SIEMENS Group, and of course, Microsoft. So she moved to Mauritius in 2011 from the beautiful country of France to the paradise island of Mauritius. And ever since she has been here, in fact, she took a bold decision a few years back of starting her own company that is moving from a lucrative career in as a sales leader to starting her own coaching and consulting company. And today Nathalie is an entrepreneur. Her company is called Alinae Consulting, that is providing tailor-made solutions for companies focused towards growth, improving their sales performance, or even requiring individual coaching to grow from one level to the other. Right. So yes, we have some interesting questions to know Nathalie better. So Nathalie, you've been a sales leader. My first question to you is, how did you make this career decision that you want to work in the field of sales?
Well, actually, when I finished my studies, I had an MBA of international international commerce. I don't know how to say it in English, and international business. And I did some training into banks. And finally, I decided not to go there, and I was typically approached by Procter and Gamble at school, and they said, "Well, you're not a marketer, you're not a finance, you're not whoever we can have you on board, but I think that you have good sales skills, and let's become a merchandiser for Procter and Gamble." So it started there, and then I changed companies, and I started with sales, of course, as a salesperson. And during the years, so I grew, and I finished sales director. So this is a story, actually. I didn't even think about selling, because I said, "Oh, I hate selling. I don't want to sell." And finally, I'm in.
Interesting. The attitude of a sales leader or a salesperson is to never give up. Right.
You're
I mean,
right.
no matter what happens, I've seen that salespeople are very, very persistent. So do you feel that this is a very natural attribute? Are people born with the quality of being a salesperson, or is it an acquired talent?
It could be both. It's depending on what is the personality of the person. If you are a guarded person and indirect style of communication, it could be very difficult to be into a shop, for example, but you could very succeed in a B2B business, in face-to-face business. So it's depending really on their communication skills, actually, their behavior. And of course, a salesperson, the first quality that needs for a salesperson is to love people, to love to meet, to love to talk, to love to explain a story, to love to talk with the people, actually.
Interesting. Yes, it's all about people at the end of the day. I mean, most of the deals, most of the collaborations happen amongst people. And today what we are seeing is that the trend is changing. The world is becoming digital, and we have realized that more so during this COVID lockdown period. But there's been a trend that most of the business, especially the retail business, or even some of the business to business deals, are promoted on social media, right? And social media has become a massive sales channel. So how do you see the transition? Because you've seen both. You've worked where there's a lot of interpersonal skill to something which is purely digital, where you don't see the person, but you're marketing and promoting your products based on what the people may like. So how do you see this shift?
The shift is very important, and even for me, because as you said, before the COVID, I was interacting with people and companies on a face-to-face basis, classroom basis. And the first online live work session I did was with you, with the platform edVentr, and I was terrified by saying, how am I going to handle nobody in front of me? How will I handle the communication with the people? How my message is going to pass? So I was very frightened. And finally, I'm not going to say that it's better, but because I like to see people, to read them, to see their eyes and their face. But actually, I think it's the advantage of that is that we learn faster, we lose less time of our daily work, and we learn as much as in a classroom. And the better thing as well, and that's where we are going we are going in the future, is the e-learning thing, e-learning workshop mixed with workshop face-to-face. Could be lives as well. So I think this is the future, and I'm very, very happy to be part of the future and to make the transition. I'm an old person. I should have been really frightened, and finally I said, this is the time. This is the time to do so. And as a salesperson, you need to adapt yourself to your market and your customer.
Absolutely, absolutely. As it is said that as long as you are learning, you're never old. And this is something very admirable of you, that you're always looking at exploring and interacting with people who are doing new things, and try to see how you can adopt and adapt into this new way of doing things. So it does reflect that it is it's your attribute of being very young at heart. And we feel very young, I mean, while talking to you, it's like we're all the same age group. So coming back, Nathalie, coming back to the quality of a salesperson, I feel that people who have worked in sales are strong and have an amazing ability to handle and manage rejection and converting them into opportunity. What has been your experience of handling rejections?
Handling rejection is it's a very difficult part of the job of a salesperson. But what it is important is never not answering this disturbing question. Always, finally, take exactly the words from the customers and reformulate it, saying, for example, did I understood well what you were talking about was blah, 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 blah. And the aim of that is that the customer, the client says yes. And then when you got a yes, you said, okay, so I'm going to propose you a solution, which is blah, 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 blah. And the benefit of this solution for you to resolve your issue or to understand better what we were saying before is blah, 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 blah. So the key thing is listening to the customers, questions, revendication, and satisfied customer to be calm and to say, okay, I understand your issue. I agree that this is a big issue for you. Using empathy. And then I understood very well, but let me reformulate it to see if I did understand very well. So your issue was this, 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 and this. Am I right? Yes, you're right. Then I'm going to offer you a solution and tell the solution that you're going to provide to the customer. But one thing, if you do say something, do it. Never lie to a customer. Never, ever lying to a customer. Otherwise, it will comes back to you like a boomerang. So answering reject, how do you say it? The word in English was?
Rejection.
Answering rejection is not so hard if you are listening to a customer.
Absolutely.
And using
Absolutely.
empathy.
Absolutely. I think it is really important to understand the need of the customer. Today, most of the businesses, that are doing that we see today that are doing well, they keep customer at the heart of all discussions, right? A lot of the discussions do not start with a business plan, but they start with what the customer really needs, right? Keeping the customer at the heart. How can we better understand that what are the needs of the customer and tailor-made our solutions according to the customer?
So the first thing is a customer have wants and needs. So when a customer comes, he said, I would like to have this. Okay. But the needs of a customer could be completely different than what he wanted at the beginning. Meaning what is understanding the difference between the wants and the needs of the customer. For that, you need to ask questions. But you need to ask questions on an open way that will let the customer to tell you the why he's wanted this. For example, I want a laptop. A laptop is a want, is a product. The seller would say, yes, okay. He has two solutions saying, we have all those laptops here, Lenovo, Acer, Toshiba, even though it does not exist anymore. I don't know, whatever brands, okay? And then the customer says, so, and if the seller does not say something else, meaning, okay, I understood that you wanted a laptop. Please, what is going to be the use of this laptop? What do you need from this laptop to do? And by asking open questions, the customer is going to give you the answers and the solution. So listen very carefully of what he's talking about, and then reformulate again, saying, if I understood well, you need a light up which is light, who has a good resolutions, who has a lot of memory, and of course a good software that you can buy to do your PowerPoint. I don't know. And the customer will say, yes, this is exactly the thing. From there, the seller can say, so I will recommend you this laptop. Do you have a brand, a specific brand? You'd like more this one or this one? No, I don't like, I don't care. The most important thing for me is that it works, that is light, etc., etc. So then the counselor, the sales reps could explain and propose the solution to a customer. So from a want, we went through a need.
Excellent, excellent. And I think also one very important aspect is that a person who's doing the sales should also know the entire diversity of the product range that the company offers, so that one knows where to shift the customer based on the need of the customer.
The need of the customer is finally, it's not a product, it's a solution. So if you are answering the needs of a customer with the right solution, he will ever comes back to you, and he will ever listen to you because your advices was the good one, and that you solved a problem for him.
Interesting. So Nathalie, you worked in different countries. From what I understand, you've definitely worked in Europe and you've worked in Mauritius. Now, both the places are culturally very different. The attributes of people are very different. So, do the sales strategy change from country to country or region to region, or rather being more direct from culture to culture?
Actually, it is different because the customers are different, because the needs and the wants of the customer are different as well. But I can see the difference is that, unfortunately, in Mauritius, we do not have yet academic sales studies. In France, we have that. So when a salesperson in Mauritius is a salesperson, sometimes he never, ever had any training. So the purpose of what I'm doing is empowering people. Let them be having all the same tools what the European salesperson has through academics. Here, we can tell that the sales trainings are formation continue, meaning continuous learning day to day on the platform, e-learning platform, as well on face to face. So yes, there is a difference, but in every country there is a difference, and of course the salesperson is adapting himself to the customer he has in front of him. So an European customer is a different than an Indian customer or Japanese customer or even Spanish customer, because the culture is different, because the needs are different, and because the customer is expected at the end of the day for every customers of the world is satisfaction. So the salesperson needs to satisfy his customer and to bring him into a journey, a customer journey that leads to customer satisfaction.
Interesting, interesting. And today we are living in a world of competition, right? Every individual, whatever work every individual is doing, there are 100 other people who may be able to do that job better than them, right? So in whether you're going for a job interview, you're competing and you have to sell your skills or sell your capabilities. Whether you're sitting in a meeting for a promotion, you have to sell your skills or capabilities, right? So what is your advice for individuals? How can they package themselves similar to how a sales product is being packaged, and present themselves in the best way depending on the needs of the job or the task or the promotion that they're looking for?
This is a very good question, because finally it's all about communication. Selling is about communication. Talking in public is about communication. Talking together is about communication. Talking to the people that are watching us is communication. So the skills and the needs is to know how to pitch, to know how to pitch, to sell yourself. And selling yourself is about wording, attitude, and of course the heart of your product. So giving a message that could put into appetite the person who is in front of you, to say, I'd like to hear more about this person. I'd love to know about her or about himself or about his solution or his products. So it's all about communication and non-verbal communication, verbal communication, and attitude as well.
Interesting, interesting. Something, I always had this weakness of speaking in public. Today what happens is there may be a lot of intelligent people who may have the best of ideas, the best of strategies, but when they sit in a boardroom, they are unable to speak. When you put them in front of an audience, they are not able to present their ideas, their thoughts, or their visions. How can we tackle this? This is a major challenge. I feel majority of the people have this fear of communicating in public, and they're unable to do this, because of which their growth becomes restricted. What is your advice or tips or strategy that you would like to suggest to them?
You said the right word. 95% of people, even though they are experts, even though they know perfectly their subject, they are just paralyzed in front of an audience, a small audience or a big audience with a micro and a table and things like that. So first of all, the first thing is to be prepared. To be prepared is not saying, okay, I'm going to read my notes and people will understand that I'm stressed and they will forgive me. No, because sometimes you're a very good expert, but people are not following you. And people are not following you because you do not interest them. And why you do not interest them? Because you're not playing with your arms, with your body language, with your face, and with your pace of the voices and the words that you are telling. So this is the art of communication, and you can learn that. It's simple, but you have to be very attentive how to you can distress yourself before going to speak into public or into a professional meeting, or even if you're a student, when you have to present your work, you might be paralyzed. My daughter was completely paralyzed, and she was stressed so much that she said, I'm not going to present what I have to do. And it was an exam. And she was paralyzed. And I had to coach her through on online because she was in England and it was in Mauritius. So I had to explain her the methodology, how to present into public and to be the best at talking to the others.
Wow, interesting, interesting. Self empowerment is so important. If we can empower every individual with that little skill or knowledge that we have. I see you have been doing this. We started edVentr, this young education technology startup, with the objective of empowering people so that they can learn from the experts. Very interesting question. A lot of people feel paralyzed when they have to take a bold decision of leaving a lucrative job to start something of their own. They may have the idea, the intent, the conviction. Now, you were a sales leader. You were the director of sales at Microsoft Indian Ocean region, a lucrative career. You left your job to start Alinae Consulting, which was a risk. You might not have known what is going to happen. From a stable income to an unstable income. How did you take this bold decision of moving from an employee to an entrepreneur?
Sense. Having sense of what I'm doing. I'm not saying that my job was a nonsense job. I think that into a period of your life, one day you stop, you look backward and you look forward and you say, okay, I achieved that. What is now the sense of my life? And really, every people that I've met that have left lucrative jobs to non-jobs, to a startup, to something they didn't know about, said, I just wanted to have a sense in my life, to make sense of my life. And the sense of my life is to empower people. So I will lie you if I said it was like this. No, I had a great period where I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even think about what I was going to do. And then I started to relax and I said to me, okay, what do you know? What did you learn? What is it, does it is it useful to the others, what you've learned and what you've acquired and what you've done? I said, yes, family. Yes. What if I try to give my knowledge to the others, to empower them, to become better than me? Because the young people, the millennials, are the future. So of course they do not like to hear when the parents or the adults or the elders say, you should have done that, you should do like this, you should do like that. It's not you should do, it's listen on about what I've learned and just learn from my failures, because we all failed somewhere. So learn from your failures and said, anyway, I've learned, so I will grow. And coming from big structures, big salaries to zero, it was a great adventure, but I really assure you, I do not regret, because I I'm giving. I'm giving. I don't care if I'm receiving back. I'm giving. Take what I'm giving to you. Do what you want, but I hope you will be the best. You will do the best with what I give you. So this is my words, to empower, to give, and please, it's not a lesson, or it could be a lesson of my life. Learning from failure and empowering people from what I've lived.
Excellent, excellent, Natalie. I think this is a very bold decision which a lot of people want to take but are unable to take. So I'm sure with your advice, people will definitely have some ideas. We have some questions from the audience. We can just have a look at that. I have one interesting question, but let's see what in case we have something. I think these are more comments that I see. Yes,
Yes,
so
I
these
think
are
that
these are
there's a
these are
lot
more
of
comments.
comments.
So we have quick 3 minutes. One very interesting question that I wanted to ask you is that you have taken up the role of a coach, right? And in today's day and age, which is a competitive world, a world where there's a lot of stress, a world where you may have limited skills, but you want to reach to a level of capability that you need assistance in in today's day and age, according to you, what is the role of a coach?
The coach is um, taking the hand of an individual or a company to understand and accept what he needs to learn, what is missing in his learning path. Coaching, there is a lot of coaching of life, coaching leadership coaching, behavioral coaching, management coaching. There is a lot of coaching. So depending on what are your objectives you want to reach, you can choose the right coach. We are not a coach of everything. I'm not a life coach. To be a life coach needs to have done studies about psychology. I did not. So I will never ever coach a person who said, I need a life coach for myself or my family or because of my couple doesn't go well, etc. I said, no, no. I'm not the one. I'm a business coach. I can coach a team leader who has issues to communicate with his team. I can coach a manager who would like to sell something to his team, how to sell something to his team, which is not very easy because the team will perceive this as mandatory things. No, we can coach on a lot of subjects, and coaching is very powerful for a person who accept the coaches, who accept the coach that is going to make a little path with him. So you choose a coach, but a coach is able as well to say, sorry, I won't be able to coach you because I don't think that you understand very well coaching. So coaching is difficult, is taking a lot of time, taking a lot of the personality of the coach, and it's a lot of emotions as well.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Because you're literally understanding the person and dealing with the person with an empathy and putting yourself in the person's shoes and trying to find a solution to your experience and knowledge.
Exactly. And as a salesperson, a coach is listening, 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 listening. And the coach is not giving the answer. The coach helps the individual to find out another way to think or to act.
Excellent, Nathalie. This was a very interesting 30-minute Q&A round. And we are glad to get insights from your life, from your experiences, from the decisions that you have taken. And at edVentr, we closely collaborate with Nathalie. We have interesting workshops and online courses by Nathalie on the sales pitch. We are doing one interesting live workshop with Nathalie on public speaking, which is on the 5th of September. You will receive details in your email, and you can always drop in a message to us to know more about what we are offering. And of course, Nathalie is a coach, so she's always available for you as per her schedule. So do drop in a line in case you need anything. And thank you so much for edVentr. Stay tuned and keep following us on Facebook. We have a lot of interesting content and topics and experts from across the world coming up to deliver some really interesting sessions. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nathalie.
Thank you very much.